Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. I just recorded a channel update video that should be out by now. So on there I mentioned I do want to do kind of like an addendum Spy Family video, kind of similar to the vein of the last video I did, talking about like the mini Anya chapter. But on that one I kind of want to delve into the Red Circus arc and kind of the areas I feel like Endo kind of whiffed on and kind of didn't really utilize the full potential of. I also kind of want to talk about Yor and her arc, or lack thereof, mostly because the anime right now has gotten to the cruise ship arc, which I think was like the first major arc we had, which really had a focus on Yor as a character. So I kind of want to talk about those two elements of that, hopefully closer to the Christmas break, so look forward to that. Apart from that, I do want to thank everyone that commented nice things in support of the last Spy Family video. It really did mean a lot to me. Like I mentioned, I don't usually typically do addendums or things for Shonen Jump chapters, because usually I'll just talk about like my thoughts and feelings in a single review or in the next chapter videos I do. But I feel like occasionally there are things or story elements I want to delve a little bit further into, but I never really know if people really kind of want to see those videos, or if they're going to like those kind of videos. So seeing the support on it really did mean a lot to me, so really appreciate that. Apart from that, I forgot to mention this in the actual channel update video, but I've been talking about the last couple of times, so I'll just reiterate it here. Still getting caught up on Shonen Jump stuff until read-throughs come back as per normal. So this weekend we're getting caught up on Akane Banashi, which I finished recording, as well as Spy Family, which we're going to do now, and also the new chapter of Goku Rakugai. Kaiju number 8 will also be coming back this week as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that the chapter's gonna launch this new arc in a good direction, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, a lot of good content coming your way, so if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will say, having seen the preview for this, I'm not super enthused about the Spy Family chapter, because unless these old people get vastly more interesting, if they're being set up to be the adopted grandparents, unless they get vastly more interesting, I feel like I'm gonna get annoyed by them super quickly. We'll see how this chapter goes. Maybe I'm gonna be eating crow, so to speak. But yeah, let's get into it with Spy Family Mission 91 by Tetsuya Endo, with translation by Casey Lowe and lettering by Irina Mappa. And I'm not even going to pretend I remember what the old guy's name is, so we'll figure it out as the chapter goes. But you see, Mr. and Mrs. Owlin, how are you this morning? Is it Siggy and Barb? Is it Ziggy or Siggy? And Anya's like, Grandpa Siggy and Granny Barb. He's like, well, if it isn't, it's like the Forgers. Yes, the Borgers. And the grandma's like, the Forgers, dear, Forgers. And Grandpa's like, oh my, you're a student at Eden Academy? And Anya's just like, yes, I'm exemplary. It's like, why? Just look at you. It's like, and your mom is off to work? It's so early. At City Hall, was it? And you're just like blushing, like, your mom? It's like, yes, that's right. We're holding an event at the city square today. It's like, oh, I've seen the flyers. The charity bazaar for disabled veterans, right? It's like, my, is it that time of year already? They've been doing those since way back. And Yor's like, if you have time, I do hope you'll come and visit. It's like, yes, that's a fine thing. I hear support for veterans has fallen along... God. I'll talk about this at the end, I guess. I hear support for veterans has fallen alongside the troop reductions of late, so this function of yours... luncheon, lunch, nom nom. Mustn't forget lunch, always pack a lunch. And Anya's like, Grandpa Siggy wants to bring a lunch. It's like, lunch, luncheon, lounge chain... the hell? Hold on. Long chain, Olga saccharides? What the hell is this man saying? And yours like, what? Oh no, there should be plenty of stalls selling food at the event. And you see that's like this long side, like almost farmer's market with like stalls all set up. And you have charity bazaar for disabled veterans. And you have a thump and everything's so heavy. Why do we city hall workers always get dragged into helping with this? It's like, because it's a city event. You see yours co-workers with like city hall little armbands walking around. You have to think of the perks, Millie. That actor Kevin is coming. This year. We'll get to be best of friends. He's like, I'd rather you didn't. No way can I compete with that hunk. It's like, oh, jealous? It's like, yes, I mean, who wouldn't be? It's like, hey, stop flirting right now, lovebirds. It's like, ugh. And you see you're just casually carrying like a pile of boxes and like a TV in one arm and a bunch of like metal poles and stuff in the other. It's like, just one more load and then it's our lunch break, Billy, so let's give it our all. It's like, how can you carry so much? It's a big help, but still. And you see a McMahon going, let's keep the griping to a minimum. The Wounded Veteran Alliance and Lady Patriot Society. Ooh, the Lady Patriot Society. Are we going to see Melinda coming back? Or watching us? Do your best to be of use to them. It's like, you got it, boss. You have the Lady Patriot Society. Bunch of busybody old shrews. I hate their kind. And you have a glasses worker lady going, don't get on their bad side or they'll report you to the SSS. And yours like, Lady Patriot Society. Where have I heard that before? It's like, oh, that's right. That's Melinda's club. It's like, Melinda? Do you mean the former First Lady? It's like, yeah, she is their chairwoman. And yours like, yeah, she mentioned that to me before. It's like, she mentioned that to you? It's like, yes, how could I forget? It's like, huh? Are you claiming you know her? It's like, oh yes, we met by chance a while back. And they're all just staring at her and be like, you're lying. It's like, no, I'm not. It's like, former First Ladies do not associate with municipal employees. It's like, yet you and Kevin are going to be best friends? It's like, I read in a tabloid the other day that she participates in satanic rituals. If you were a friend, she'd sacrifice you to the devil. And yours is like, actually, she seems like a really nice person to me. It's like, I'm sure it was just someone who looked like her. It's like, I wonder if she'll actually be here today. It's like, the Lady Patriot Society comes every year, but I've never heard of Melinda Desmond making a personal appearance. She seems to have a lot of enemies, so I doubt she'd come to such a public event. It's like, let's get moving. The surveys are watching. And you see nearby, you see a bunch of soldiers, with disabilities, like being wheeled by on wheelchairs, like walking on crutches and things. And as Millie's staring at them, he's like, Millie? And she's like, I don't think I can do this. I'll go back. I'll take care of things at the office. He's like, what? No, we're short-handed as it is. And it's like, well, at least you tried this year. That's progress. Like, there. So last year she cried and refused to even come. It's like, oh, come on. And yours like, is Millie okay? Does she have a stomachache or something? It's like, no, her issue is... It's like, excuse me, City Hall workers. Could we see a little more hustle, please? We can't set up until you've finished. You see these shrewd, like, pruny looking... Like, these women look like eat sour lemons. I assume the Lady Patriot Society is kind of glaring at them. It's like, the Lady Patriots emerge from their shrew hole. It's like, we need to do as they say. It's like, sorry about that. We'll bring the rest over ASAP. It's like, you carry this, Millie. It's like, yes, ha 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 ha. It's like, huh. Young people enjoy the peace without any concept of its cost. Not one shred of respect for the soldiers who risk their lives fighting for this nation. Imagine being so free of worldly concerns. How lucky. I hope they understand there are still soldiers suffering from injuries and post-traumatic disorders. It's like, yes, of course, we'll be more considerate. And then you see Millie going, well, at least those soldiers survived. He's like, Millie, what are you? It's like, they made it home, didn't they? Hip, hip, hooray for them, right? It's like, what on earth are you babbling about, child? It's like, hey, apologize before you get reported. It's like, well, not my dad. Yeah, I suspected. He didn't get to come home at all. You see everyone kind of like taken aback by this. It's like, so? You think that gives you license to shirk your duties? You're not the only one who lost someone. Janet lost her husband, right? You're making a solemn occasion all about you. Everyone is suffering. This is about supporting each other. You know nothing of the world, you pitiful little girl. And you see Millie's taken back by this. It's like, you see she's kind of having like a trauma response. She turns away to like run away. It's like, Millie, it's like, don't walk away from me. I ought to smack some sense into your worthless little head. And you see you're just kind of sliding in to play defense with a shoom and goes, I do apologize if we've been negligent in our duties here today, but what exactly is it you find pitiful about Millie? Why do you feel that she's worthless? It's like, did you not hear what she said to us? Everyone's in the same boat here. No one gets special treatment. It's like, God, I did not expect we get potentially your info during this arc, but I'm for it. It's like, just like her, I lost my parents during the war. And now, you see you're just going and grabbing this giant pile of boxes and lifting it effortlessly. I'm working as hard as I can. So please do the same and carry 10 of these boxes each. And they're like, no way we can do that. And you're just like, I can do it. And she just flexes on him. It's like, well, not everyone is a gorilla like you. I'm much too frail. And yours like, then why are you so convinced that Millie's the same as you? And they're like, ugh. It's like, yeah, don't group her in with you. It's like, unlike you, Millie is a sensitive soul. It's like, yes, obviously people have different physical capabilities. So what? It's like, so your point is that emotionally we're all the same? By that logic, there's no difference between those who are suffering and those who aren't. We're all just one big happy species. So can we not escalate this? It's like, you're splitting hairs. Unlike you, mewling brats, our generation had to suffer through the war. Do not make light of that. And yours like, huh? I'm afraid I don't understand your point. No one is making light of your suffering. We have nothing but respect for those who fought on our behalf and for those who suffered on the home front. But, as children, we suffered a great deal ourselves. We suffered in ways that only children can. I think that might be true of everyone our age. And yeah, Millie's just like, she's got like tears in her face. It's like, I'll carry Millie's load too. I hope that's acceptable. It's like, yeah, you can't complain about that. It's like, let's get to it. We're wasting time. He's like, don't you mock us! I warned you, didn't I? I warned you, you wretched spoiled brat. She's like, brings her arm back to slap her. And you see Melinda in disguise, like a little shawl on her head, like sunglasses, grabbing her arm with, stop that, you're embarrassing yourself. It's like, what on earth is going on here? It's like, Madam Chairwoman! It's like, you wouldn't believe how disrespectful these... It's like, Yor, oh my, is that really you, Yor? It's like, Melinda, my gosh! It's just like grabs her like a giddy schoolgirl. He's like, oh, it's been so long. How have you been? He's like, oh, fine. It's like, that's Melinda Desmond. Like, for real? It's like, so they really do know each other. It's like, you're working today? It's like, yes, that's right. It's like, oh, I'd appreciate if you could help keep my presence a secret. He's like, sure. It's like, yikes, that's a former First Lady, all right? Her presence is terrifying. It's like, for a minute there, I was starting to think that Yor was actually a decent person, but this... Desmond is the one who started the damn war. He's the worst of the worst. What sort of person could be friends with the wife of a monster like that? Shut your mouth already, you twit. You'll get disappeared. It's like, here, she's the one, Madam Chairwoman. That impudent cur has been yapping at us since... It's like, easy. And I see Melinda kind of staring at her in shock. And you have McMahon going, you're mistaken, Ms. Myers. At the war's start, Chairman Chapman was Prime Minister. Chairman Desmond was the PM who followed. It is a boorish deed to apply unwarranted blame due to one's own ignorance. Learn your history. It's like, that's right, you brat. How dare you defame her? Apologize at once. And Melinda's like, that's enough. My husband was Prime Minister during much of the war, so she's not entirely wrong. This young woman has every right to despise us. Indeed, it is I who should be apologizing to her. It's like, Miss Desmond, you have nothing. It's like, no, as a Desmond, this is my burden to bear. I have a duty to support our veterans and no less of a duty to their bereaved. I know that this will not help to atone for all that you've suffered, but I have parents too. I have children of my own, and a husband, of course. Were I to lose any of them, I'm sure I would resent someone for it too. It's like, Madam Chairwoman, you're expected at the WVA. It's like, I'm on my way. And as she tries to reach out to Millie, you kind of see her falling back. It's like, these materials are for them, right? Allow me. And thank you for your help today. It's like, I'm sorry, but I really must be going. It's like, but Madam Chairwoman, It's like, huh? It's like, does supporting each other involve policing each other's behavior? No, of course not. That would be a return to wartime repression. Now, let us be on our way. It's like, goodbye. And to you too, Yor. It's like, bye. And he's like, wait. It's like, listen, I'm sorry for what I said. And he's like, I'm so glad to hear it. If you ended up hating Yor because of something I did, I felt dreadful. It's like, are you okay, Millie? Should I walk you to the station? It's like, no. I want to help out a little bit longer. It's like, you sure about that? It's like, I'd rather be with you guys than alone right now. It's like, you sure hate to be alone? It's like, yeah, I guess I do. I was really young when my dad died, and I don't remember him very well. So his absence mostly just left me feeling lonely. I blame that for things not going so great for me and for the way I blow up sometimes. But I do have this job now with all of you. And you too, Yor. Thank you. So I've always thought of you as a weird, clueless robot. But now I see you're more like a kindly gorilla. And he's like, hey! It's like, no, I'm a human being. So can we talk about how you're friends with the former first lady? How'd you pull that off? How is it fair that you're the one getting treated to fancy dinners by Melinda Desmond? It's like, she really seemed nothing like her husband. It's like, she doesn't buy me fancy dinners, just tea. It's like, being friends with a celebrity sounds exhausting to me. She's all yours, Yor. It's like, I can't believe the way you talk to her. You don't even try to be posh. It's like, what does posh mean? Am I not supposed to talk to her like normal? It's like, oh my god, you hang out with society's elite and don't even know what posh means? It's like, tell you what, you buy the drinks tonight and we'll teach you. And Millie's like, oh my gosh, yes! It's like, you would do that for me? Thank you. It's like, wait, when did you all get so friendly? Christ. You see later when Yor gets home, she's like, hearty salutations, dearies. And Lloyd just like, what? So, thoughts on this chapter. Man, I don't know what to think about this chapter. Like, I have very mixed emotions on it because we had like a little bit of a fake out at the beginning with like the old grandparents just like strolling by to set up like the whole charity auction and whatnot. And then we used that to segue into kind of like, talking about like war and like, stuff like Remembrance Day, things like that. And I feel like that's where this chapter gets a little bit muddled, because I know like the armband thing, like I know this is like a thing I've seen in Japan before, so I know it's like a cultural thing that I'm just like not fully aware of, where they wear like different armbands, like they're doing politicians are going out, like they wear armbands to like do policy and stuff. To me, it just draws parallels to like the Nazis, like the armbands and stuff, regards to that. So it's kind of like that just like struck out to me, just kind of like took me out a little bit with like the little different cultural context and stuff with regards to that. But apart from that, like I like the setup at the beginning with Millie being like, kind of having like the PTSD flashbacks where she's kind of like seeing the wounded war veterans and their families nearby. And she's kind of like, I can't be here right now. I have trauma regarding this. And she wants to leave and everything. And then you've got kind of like, the stereotypically like evil old ladies who are just like, all privileged and out of touch, being like, oh, you're so weak. Like, oh, like, they risked our lives for this. How dare you not be more respectful? I feel like it leaned a little bit too much into the comical, talking about like, the ways society fails, like war veterans, and like imperialism and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like I need to again do like an addendum video for this once I gather my thoughts and do a little bit more research. I feel like I need to do another addendum video with my thoughts regarding this chapter. So I might actually do that and kind of like gather my thoughts before I do anything else with regards to the more political stuff. Apart from that, I did like Yor kind of stepping in to defend Millie and like talking smack back to the old ladies and just kind of like flexing on them with like, I can carry so many boxes, why can't you? So I did like that. Again, this is just really, really making me wish for an actual Yor flashback, because like Lloyd has gotten like a huge amount of screen time and character development and support and things. Anya's even got a little bit, but I feel like Yor has been really left behind in that regard. Like we don't really know a lot about her and her past and things like that. And that's one of the major things I really want to talk about in my next video. So I'll save like more thoughts with regards to that for the video I'm working on. But I did like that we finally got like a little bit of another tidbit in this, where we learned that, she also lost her parents in the war as well. Whether that was as casualties of war, so I don't know if there was like the same thing as Lloyd, where her parents were caught in a bombing and that's how she got orphaned, or whether her father was potentially also military service and that's why she kind of like stepped in to defend Millie as well. And maybe that's why potentially like Yuri went into the Secret Service and like that kind of aspect, was maybe because he was like, heard stories from Yor about their parents and what they did. And that's why he decided to go like that route. So I really hope we get like another arc or development with Yor sooner rather than later, because I feel like she has been off neglected for too long. But yeah, I did like at least that little tidbit we got. I do like the little kind of friendship between her and Melinda. That's just really amusing, like especially for people being like, "Oh my God, how did Yor get to be friends with her?" But apart from that, again, like I said, I'll save thoughts on like the whole McMahon scene with her talking about like the PM and everything for later. But yeah, like this felt like just a very mixed bag of a chapter. And I think I need to sit with my thoughts for a little bit longer before I can exactly pin down why it felt like that. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know where this arc is going. Again, like I mentioned, I hope if the old people are going to be recurring characters though, and they're going to be like the adopted grandparents, I hope they become more interesting, because right now they're kind of just a little bit bland. But apart from that, decent enough chapter, but I'm looking forward to the next one. With all that said, like I mentioned at the beginning, if you like this content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I mentioned, I've got some video plans and stuff for Christmas break prepped up. So hopefully I will be playing catch up during that week, getting caught up on read-throughs, videos, things like that. So look forward to it. Like I mentioned, I'll also get caught up on Shonen Jump stuff today. So Kane and Spy Family have been recorded. I'll also get around to Gokuraku today as well. And then I'll either get around to Kaiju next week or the week after, depending on how it goes. And until next time, this is Ash. I will talk to you all later.